that whole sentiment is so wild to me. And I've come across a few people now that are saying it, that like, oh, I'm this color, so I don't get to speak on these issues. I need to check my privilege and recognize that I shouldn't have an opinion. And I'm like, where does that lead to? We're all only going to speak to things that affect us personally. Well, then we can't speak on 90% of what's happening ever.
Exactly. And I think that's, weird about it too, because it's just like, I feel like low key, if you only talk about things that affect you, and like white people can only talk about things that affect white people, African American people can only talk about stuff that affects African American people, and so on and so on. I feel like that's going to create segregation again.
Yes.
I feel like that is it's a valid thing to say. And in the future, it's just like, is our world evolved that much to where that can never be a thing again? I don't know. But if we keep talking, it's just like, oh, you're black, so you can't say things about white people, or you're white, so you can't say about, the struggles that black people go through. It's like, to a sense, you are right. Like, I am white. I will never know what it's like to walk in a black person's shoes. I just won't.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's certain things that I, have no right, I have nothing to say about it because I don't know. But other things, just like, you take away the skin color, like at the end of the day, like, it's still people. You're a person, they are a person. It's like you can understand to some extent as to why certain things would affect them and affect you more, because you're all people.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, I can totally understand, some people, like, you and I are never going to know what it's like to walk in a black person's shoes. Know, if they go through a struggle every day because they're black, what struggle that is like, because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm. But it's to a point, right? Because, I mean, I almost don't even want to say this because people get all weird about it, but like, I've experienced racism, as I'm brown, but a lot of people don't know I'm brown, and some do. Like, I've experienced racism, but I keep it moving. Like, I hit that wall, and that I don't look at that as a reflection of me. Like, if someone's racist, even if it's not to me, if it's to somebody else, or if it's to me, I hear that and I think of that as a reflection of them. Like, I'm like, oh, you have some problems you need to take care of. Okay, I'm going to keep it moving this way. And I wish you the best, but I can't, like, I'm not going to ride.
And I feel like that's that's kind of the high road to take. I really feel like, and I could, kind of see how, like, you having to do that every single day
would be tough.
It'd be extremely difficult, but, again, it's just like, am I really allowed to say for sure? Because I know for a fact, like, it, going back to when you had Soraya on and you asked her if you can be racist towards a white person.
Shout out to Soraya. Super smart. If you guys I
really enjoyed Soraya's podcast. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. That's probably
she was really cool.
No, I really enjoyed her podcast. Like, I straight up almost wanted to, like, message her privately and just like, dude, I really liked your podcast.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
It was so cool. Like, I hope
she hears that.
I didn't want it to be so, like, weird, but like, I really liked her podcast. Oh, cool. I thought I'd like to hear what she had to say. I thought it was really good. But one thing, like, she didn't, fully say you can't be racist to white people. She was, I forget exactly what she said, but it's like, you can't be racist to white people. I was like, it's called racism for a reason. I was just like, if I went, because working for the county, they have a road crew in Hoopaw, and we go there, Willow Creek, Hoopaw area, Orleans, to go and help them out every once in a while. Nothing's ever happening, because, we're white, but it's just like, you do feel eyes like stare at you when you walk into a store or when you are just driving. It's like, they're just like, oh, like, it makes you feel like you shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the only time I've ever experienced anything like that. And that's not saying, everyone in Hoopaw is like that. That's just, certain people. So it's just like, but the feeling of me feeling sort of uncomfortable like that, kind of like, I never go through it every day. That's, only when I go over there. Sometimes when I go over there, I feel that. Not even every time. So, it just goes back to, you don't know what it's like in another person's shoes that's of different color, Yeah,
but I like to think that people are smart. I don't think that everyone's stupid. But I think that we can easily be persuaded to ideas if someone is intelligent enough to be able to put it in a way that we can ingest it, Mm-hmm. And so I think sentiments get passed around that are kind of dangerous, because we should all be able to speak on issues that are American issues.
Right, you have freedom of speech. Like,
And even more so, like, racism specifically is well, all of it specifically, but racism is like, it's not just one race that's perpetuating it.
It's
like
everybody.
It's everybody. You can be racist to anybody. And the idea that only one color or one person can speak on an issue, I just worry about where that leads us. Because then, you know, you hear people saying, oh, well, abortion should be only talked about by women. It's like, well, you need two people to have a baby.
Yeah.
And I completely support women's rights. I think they deserve the ultimate say. But like, if I really want to have this kid and you don't, your vote outweighs mine.
Exactly.
Which it should. I recognize it should. I completely believe it should. But like, I haven't been in that situation, but from a, like, I can recognize that would be hard. And I think you need both perspectives. You can't just have one, because then where do you go with that? You're going to miss out on all these other dynamics that really influence the discussion, because you just want one person talking about it.
And I feel like that's what makes, like, you know, especially like this time and age, like, you know, this day and age is really kind of hard, because it's like you're walking on eggshells. Like, you're on a slippery slope almost every single topic you talk about. And it's just like,
it's scary.
It's scary. Really, it's just scary. Like, you know, it's crazy, you know.